Welcome back. This is still the POLITY reaching you live from Abuja. Right now we will be joined by our guest virtually. He is speaking from outside of Abuja to join the program to do some justice to the issues on hand. I'm talking about Mr. Olufowobi Desmond, is an analyst. Good afternoon, Mr. Desmond. Can you hear me?
Yes, good afternoon in the studio.
How's it over there?
I'm doing great, and you?
I'm good. Thank you. All right, let's start swiftly with I believe the issue that is still taking majority of the news headlines today, speaking about the Rivers State rift between the governor and the Minister of FCT, which has spiraled into something else. I'd like to get your thoughts as to the recent proposed or supposed resolution, the rejection by the PDP, the rejection by elder statesman Edwin Clark, and so on and so forth. What's your take on this whole saga and the most recent developments?
Well, interesting the story is. It is quite interesting to note that we still experiencing this kind of situation in River State. River State has always been a battleground for political gladiator since 1999. And it has become like a tradition where we experience that the president, a former governor, will be having issue with his predecessor. The governor always has issues with his predecessor, just like the case of Peter Odili, and also Omeha with Amechi with Wike now with Tim Fubara. It has always been a tradition. And, you must have been familiar with the word rivers of blood. But we just pray that this situation at hand will not degenerate into such kind of a calamity. And I'm happy for the swift intervention of Mr. President in what is currently going on in River State. What we have on the news is that the governor the former governor and the minister of FCT want to maintain its political structure. Meanwhile, the governor said that he's going to defend the interests of the people. There has been a lot of allegations. We've heard a lot on the social media that the former governor, being the minister of FCT, is demanding about 25% of the allocation that comes from the federal government into the state to his own personal account. Meanwhile, some other allege that there was certain agreements between the governor and his godfather, who happens to be Wike, that is going to continue to maintain and control the state power. So all these are some of the issues that we are having in River State, and I want to tell you, for me, there has to be a balance. There is a way. I think there is a lacuna, and our constitution needs to address this issue. Our constitution needs to look critically to see how they can plug some of these loopholes. We cannot continue to have it this way. You can remember that this kind of situation has always happened, and it is the people that will be at the receiving end. And that is why I would want the people in the River State to maintain utmost peace and to maintain their peace while we find a better solution. As per the rejection of the truth that was brokered by Mr. President, I feel for the sake of peace, just like the governor also said, the governor said that he's going to pay any price to ensure that the state, for peace, that is going to pay any price to ensure that the state is peaceful. So I don't think it is wise or it is good for anybody anywhere to be, rejecting what the president has, because it is after about 3 hours meeting at the villa that they later resort into those agreements that were reached. So I don't think it is wise for anybody anywhere, because it is only those who wear the shoes that know that knows where it pitches. And earlier today, I saw that about 27 dropped the impeachment notice that they issued to the governor of Rivers State. So I think the peace is beginning to, the truth that was brokered by Mr. President is beginning to eat in Rivers State. Why we want to plead on elders, PDP, and other people in Rivers State to show some cooperation and to listen to what the governor is saying instead of causing some uproar in the public that can stir some agitation. I think for now it will be wise for us to all maintain this peace.
All right, you've praised President Bola Tinubu for wading into this matter, but some persons, including some senior advocates of Nigeria, such as Mr. Femi Falana, they've said that the resolutions to an extent are not in accordance with the law. So they say that political solutions cannot supersede legality. So I like your thoughts on that. Doesn't it look to an extent as though the president overstepped his bounds in terms of the directives, as they were called in the list we saw? And also, does it seem as though this is just a case of him supporting or favoring his minister over the governor of Rivers State? Because many say that those resolutions really lean heavily towards one side of this disagreement, rather than what we would expect, something more in the middle that brings the two parties back together. So is there a question of unfair treatment here?
There is nothing like a question of unfair treatment there. Why Mr. Falana may be right as per that there is no political statement that supersedes, or the action of the president does not supersede the jurisdictions of the court, that the court or the law is always, superior to any kind of political resolution. But in the first place, this matter is a political matter that shouldn't have gone into the court in the first place. It's just unfortunate that Mr. President waited for this long before intervention. But what I want to say is that this is a political matter, and the best approach is to solve it politically. We cannot continue, to allow, there is no way this case can be settled in the court. You are going to have people who will not be happy with the result from the court. And the only way we can have a win-win situation at the end of the day is when we have a political solution. And don't forget that Mr. President has been a politician, and whatsoever he is doing, he will do it in the utmost interest of peace, in the utmost interest of security and the people of Rivers State. There is nothing like overstepping its boundary. In the first place, all these 31 lawmakers were elected into the House, and everything was moving smoothly before the rancor. It was as a result of the rancor that made some people to decamp from PDP to APC. It's all political. This has nothing to do with court or no court. It is all political. And Mr. President has done noble. What Mr. President has done is for me, it's in the interest of peace, interest of security, and the people of Rivers State, because it is the people that will be at the receiving end.
All right, so we have some parties disagreeing. In all of this, what do you think should be the PDP's role? Because these 27 or 25 seats have gone to the APC, even though the lawmakers ran on the platform of the PDP. And now the resolution basically says that the governor should recognize those lawmakers who left or who decamped from the PDP. There's still the question of whether there was any national crisis in the PDP to warrant them leaving the party. But that being said, in all of this, where do you see the PDP coming in, where it seems as though a majority in the House, which they held, has been, taken from them, and now we have directives that those who took those seats away to another party, the party of the president, should now be recognized?
First of all, we need to understand that the reason why these lawmakers in the first place defected to the All Progressive Congress party was because of Wike. What we understood, what we get from reality on ground is that those who are loyal to the Minister of FCT were the one who defected from PDP to APC. And this morning, the 27 of them that earlier gave notice of impeachment to the governor of Rivers State also done that. So I think all these are politics, and I'm not sure that they are in APC for any other reason apart from Wike. So I'm still very sure that they can still decide to come back to PDP if there is a understanding between the Minister of FCT, the former governor of Rivers State, and the incumbent governor of Rivers State, Governor Sim Fubara. So as per PDP, I don't think there is much PDP. PDP cannot interpret the law. This is not the first time that we have people leaving their party defecting, and even never fought. So I think in the meantime, this is not a fight between APC and PDP. It is a fight between Wike, the former governor of Rivers State, and the incumbent governor of Rivers State. And if these two can reach resolution in the long run, I'm very sure others, like the other lawmakers who have defected from the People's Democratic Party to All Progressive Congress, will definitely also find a political solution at the end of the day. So in the interest of peace, the governor should accept this 27 lawmaker back. But as per the speakership, because there is a ruling already passed by the High Court in Rivers State that recognizes the new speaker. So I don't know what will happen as regard that. I don't know whether the law, because I know the law supersedes or is superior to any resolution by Mr. President. So I will leave that to the law or lawyer to interpret that later.
Indeed. But on the political aspect of this, I'd like to get your thoughts. When we started the conversation, you spoke about how it has happened. It's not something particularly new to Rivers State. I'd like to get your thoughts on how you think our political scene might be influenced by this. We've seen truly in different situations where it seems as though a former governor has attempted to have maybe some level of influence on the dealings of the state, and it usually doesn't always work well for that ex-governor. We don't know how this will turn around this time. But what do you make of that whole dynamic? The fact that there's still some level of loyalty expected from a governor who is already in office to the ones who came before him.
I have never been a fan of godfatherism. I have never been a fan of it. I don't like godfatherism, but because a godfather should be a good father. But most of the godfathers we have in this part of the world, they are not good fathers, they are bad fathers. They want to loot the state. And even after leaving office, they still want to have overstretching influence on the economy of the state. They are not godfather for a good reason, but they are always godfather because of the state asset. Just like what happened in Anambra during the time of Ngige. The same thing, something like that also happened in Lagos State. It happens in Edo State with the governor. You know, it happens in Lagos State with Ambode and Asiwaju with the incumbent president. You see, this thing is all about the people's wealth, common wealth. I think for our democracy to grow, for the country to develop, we need to do away from this godfatherism. My personal opinion, I never see any good in godfatherism, because the reason for godfatherism is to loot the peoples of their common wealth, is to loot the state treasury, and to have overstretching influence on power, even while they have left left government. So for me, it is not a good thing. Our law needs to repel this. If there is some section of the law or some new law that needs to be created, this is a lacuna, and this lacuna needs to be eliminated from our policies if we must have development and if we must have advanced democracy in this part of the world.
All right, fair enough. Let's move quickly to another matter now that is affecting a great many number of Nigerians. Speaking about the issue of the cash crunch and scarcity that is being experienced across the nation, the NLC has threatened to, embark on a nationwide protest due to the hardship that Nigerians are facing at this time. I just want to get your thoughts on this whole dynamic. We know that what happened the last time was as a result of new notes and so on. But as we speak, I do not believe that we've had a direct answer or response for why we're experiencing cash scarcity. What's your take on what's going on at the moment? We've heard reports of some banks not giving more than, I think, 10,000 or 20,000 naira per customer, but somehow we have the POS agents having some level of cash but at higher charges. What do you think is really going on, and what response do you think we should be getting from the government?
Since the government have not been responsive enough to tell Nigerians what exactly is going on, why do we have to suffer for cash scarcity at this time of the year? Christmas is about 5 days away, and yet we are having this kind of issue. You see, for me, I've been thinking I couldn't think, because for no reason should we be suffering cash scarcity. For no reason. I don't know why things are not working in this part of the world. I don't know why people that have opportunity or people who are in position of leadership always abuse their position. For me, this is a gross abuse of office. Why on earth? What policy? What changes? Because I heard that they want to change the note. Even there should be a process of solving problems. You cannot compound problems while trying to solve problems. And that is where we are getting it wrong in this part of the world. So for me, I am fully in support of the step that NLC has threatened to take. Scarcity of cash is going to inconvenience Nigerians, which I have personally experienced in the recent time. For me, I don't know the reason. I've been thinking I couldn't think through. So I think some people need to be responsible to tell Nigerians reason why we should be suffering or why we should be having cash scarcity at this point in time. Why do Nigerians have to suffer all the time? This is what I don't understand. And for me, I am in full support of this proposed action by the NLC.
All right. I think we can understand the pains being felt by Nigerians, particularly after the Supreme Court later said that the notes are legal tender. One wonders why we still had to go through this. Perhaps this was what was meant to happen if the deadline, which was meant to be this December, came again and maybe the CBN wasn't ready. So we still need answers, and we hope to get that. That being said, let's still speak on some other issues now bordering on the state of the nation. We have that the budget is going to be, or is set to be passed tentatively December 30th. President Tinubu has pledged or promised that the dividends of what he's been doing and the moves he's been making will become clearer as from next year. I'd like to get your thoughts on that, expectations going into a new year. This will be the first budget for a full year from the president himself, and not perhaps just a supplementary budget or a budget inherited from the previous administration. So what are the expectations, particularly when he says that we will begin to see more results of his actions in 2024?
Yeah, most definitely. This is a renewed hope budget, as it were called, and it is the president's budget. And then this is his fourth budget as well.
Mm.
And then this budget encapsulates some of the promises he has made to Nigerians. So I am full of hope, like it has always been with us here in this part of the world. We expect to see the renewed hope government in action from January 2024 to December 2024, when the budget eventually gets passed on the 30th of December, as the National Assembly proposed. So for me, I am confident that the budget will bring some level of relief, since the government already has a vision of what it wants to achieve within the 365 days between January and December 2024, and the budget will be passed. So we begin to see changes in the area of economy, finance. Like you see that the budget gives so much attention to finance and to cushion the effect of the economy. We have appreciable amount of money going to finance, and also we have appreciable amount going to agriculture as well, and other aspects of humanitarian also getting something. So I want to believe that this budget is to cushion the effect of what Nigerians are passing through at the moment. So by January, I expected that Nigeria should feel the impact of the renewed hope budget. I am optimistic that the country will get in the right pedestal when the budget is eventually passed.
All right. I'm sorry to cut in there. Let's quickly break down the issue, talking about the recent numbers from the MBS as regards inflation. At what point do you think this would begin to show itself? Is it something that we expect part of the new budget to address? We're heading into, or we are already in that festive period where we have Christmas, the New Year, and we know that naturally, generally, since time as long as we've known, whenever this period comes, there's hike in prices and so on. But even before that, now we're seeing already high food inflation and so on and so forth. So do you think this is just something where it will get a little worse before it gets better, or as we speak, can we begin to lay the blame at the feet of the new administration? Because just taking into or giving an example, there's a piece, a news report analysis by a media house which sort of spoke about this cash crunch and likened it to quote unquote the Emefiele times. And they've been facing a lot of backlash because people say, why put Mr. Emefiele in this? He's no longer the CBN governor. Similarly, now that we're experiencing this increased inflation, is this something that we can expect will be part of what gets fixed? Is the president in any way responsible for what we're seeing?
Let me start by saying this, that there is no quick fix to inflation. Inflation is as a result of some factors, economic factors. The reality is that it will be like this for some time, and don't expect a quick change in the first or even second quarter of 2024. But as the economy gets better and contracts, we'll begin to have the drop in the inflation. And the president cannot be in any way responsible for inflation, but government policy. Government policies have been responsible for this inflation. And for me, the CBN has not clearly come out to tell us why we are having this issue of cash scarcity. The only thing I know is that there is a new policy. They want to remove some digits. So they want to change the entire naira. They want to change the entire naira, not color this time around. They want to change the entire naira But even at that, it shouldn't result into scarcity of cash. We should have a target. We should have a timing. We should have a plan. We should not do something in a hurry. We should not do something as if there is no plan. If there were proper planning, we shouldn't be having this kind of problem, because for me, this is a mess. And the inflation, you know, we started having this inflation as at when there was a removal of fuel subsidy, when there was a removal of subsidy on petrol. And since then, things was getting higher and all that. So it is when the economy issue is properly addressed that we begin to have drop in the inflation. So when we start having refineries working, when we start having more production, internally generated revenue, GDP, when there is growth in our GDP, gross domestic product and all that, that's when we start having drop in our inflation rate. Otherwise, if we continue to import, if we continue to pay more to pay more for dollar, we're still going to be having inflation. The reason why things are inflating is because of dollar exchange. What the naira gets, the higher we are going to be paying, because most of the things we use in this part of the world, they are imported. If there is increase in the exchange rate between naira and dollar, if it continues this way, things will be getting worse. The only way it can get better is when naira is strengthened against dollar, and the only way that can happen is when we start producing and we start using our naira more than using the dollar.
All right, fair enough. You make a very great point there. Hopefully we'll see how that pans out. Now, let's move swiftly to an issue that has been also dominating the airways, the issue of fake products. You're speaking about production and the lessening of importation in Nigeria, and we know that this has really been top of the news with various revelations of things that Nigerians have taken for granted or perhaps not paid attention to, noticing that brand names are different, that some products might be adulterated. We saw NAFDAC closing down some places within the markets where they were making liquor, fake liquor, so to speak, and putting them in the packs or the coverings or containers of the original products. And it seems that this is very widespread. The NAFDAC DG has said that part of the reason why it's been difficult to keep up is that they are understaffed and they don't have as much capacity as they used to. What's your take on all of this? What response do you think would be best to handle this issue? It's a nationwide issue.
It's about time that the country needs to be very serious about this issue. Because we are talking about lives. Yeah, we're talking about widespread of fake products. Widespread in every corner of this country. Products are being adulterated in large quantity. Most of the products we have in the market today, they are adulterated, they are fake products. Fake products, from drinks to food to paste and other liquor, soft drinks, name it. And it is disheartening why Nigerians do not consider the health of other Nigerians. This is really, really disheartening. These fake products are capable of destroying not just the economy, but also destroy lives of people. It can result in cancer, it can result in kidney failure, it can result in even heart failure. So I don't see any justification for anyone anywhere to hide under the guise of harsh economy, to start adulterating and producing fake products that people will consume. It is height of it. And now that needs to strengthen its staff, strengthen its workforce to ensure that all the perpetrators are brought to book and justice is served. Because we cannot continue to have products that we consume being adulterated and mass-produced under very worse conditions. That is the worst part of it. Under a very worse condition. And then I am very sure NAFDAC is not doing enough, because these products are not produced underground. They are produced in market. They are produced in our community. They are produced in our environment. There has to be investigation. And companies too need to strengthen their security, resorting in the use of technology. Just like there are some medicine that have encrypted codes that you can use to know if the product is original or fake. Almost all products should have that kind of code. And there are so many security codes. There are so many ways you can guarantee the safety of your product. And it is for the interest of the producer. The producer needs to think more on how they can seal and produce and secure the integrity of their product, so they will not lose. It is they will be at the losing end if they don't do what they are supposed to do, by showing that these drinks and produce are encrypted with security that will give Nigerians confidence to buy. Because ever since this outbreak of mass production of minerals and all that, a lot of people have reduced the consumption of these things, and it's affecting the economy. It's affecting the company. So the company, why now that we go all out there to ensure that these perpetrators are brought to justice, the companies on their own, they need to work on the security and the integrity of their products for them to continue to be afloat in the market.
What about the people? You just made a point about these illegal structures being within communities and within people. What's the duty of these persons who might be witnessing, seeing, or suspecting such happening around them? All right. I think we might just have to. All right. Can you hear me, Mr. Desmond? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Desmond?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I was asking, you mentioned that these illegal structures are within communities. What's the responsibility of those persons who surround these, people breaking the law?
Yes, I think it is in the utmost interest of the people. When they see something, they speak. They speak up. And we cannot continue to indulge and allow this kind of production of fake produce go on in our community, because it is the people that will be at the receiving end. If you continue to protect these people in your community, it will affect your children, it will affect some people. You might say that after all, they are not selling in the nearby market, but this product will find their way back to your home in a way that you may not even know. And this thing is going to affect the health. And this is not even something we should allow in the community. These things will continue to affect us, our health, our economy, and our security. It's a threat to our life. And it is a threat to the integrity of the company that is producing this original producer of this product. So our people should see this as a sin. And they should see it as a crime. They should see it as the way you see Boko Haram, the way you see criminals. That's how you should see those in your community that manufacture fake products or adulterate products or companies. So we should speak up. We should have, and NAFDAC should also have 3-digit number or secret number that will be available for people to call, and should also guarantee the safety of the reporters, because some people might be scared of their life, that when they speak, they may go after their lives. So they should have a secret code or number that people can call in to report incidents of this kind of production of fake products in our community. The people should speak, as a matter of fact, for the safety and the security of life.
Fair enough. All right, just to round up the program, President Tinubu has promised to ensure more press freedom and freedom of speech. I'd just like to get your thoughts as a closing statement. What's your analysis or breakdown when you take a look at how much freedom of expression exists now and perhaps in previous administrations, and what your projections could be?
Yeah, I think every time actually warrants certain actions of government. will understand that freedom of speech is a right, and it should be. It's one of the factors, or one of the things that democracy promised. One of the indicators that democracy promised to show that there is democratic in every society, freedom of speech. But the reason why the former administration, to some extent, restrict freedom of speech is because of what is happening at that time. That was when we have the issue of NSAS, the issue of IPOB, and the rest of them. And some people, because of the freedom they have to speak, they are inciting the public, against government, against other people. And that is causing a lot of crisis in the country. So, but right now that the country is improving in terms of our security and the rest of them, I don't think there should be any reason for us to restrict the freedom of speech. So, as a matter of fact, Nigeria should be given the opportunity to speak freely, because that is also one of the principles of our democracy. So, it's a good thing, it's a welcome development from Mr. President, who has been a defender of democracy for a very long time. Since 1992, he has been defending and fighting for democracy till now. So for Mr. President to do this, it shows that he's truly a democratic president. And in the recent, this is the first time that we're having somebody who is completely democratic that will be in that place, that is not influenced by military or anybody, or have the background of military, or a godfather from the military. So we expect to enjoy the dividend of democracy under his watch as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So
all right, thank you so much, Mr. Desmond. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for being able to join us despite the thousands of kilometers between us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and do have a wonderful time.
And you too. All right, that's how we round up the program for today. Remember, the Polity reaches you live from Abuja every weekday, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. It is the holidays, so I don't think it's too early for me to wish everyone out there a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year as we build up to that day. Hopefully you have a great one, and just like our guest said yesterday, I hope you do your best to lend a helping hand. Give as much as you can. It is the season of love. Do all you can for those around you, just as you hope others can also do for you. Thank you so much. Join us tomorrow once again. And the weekdays, Mercy Babajide will be here tomorrow to join you on the Polity, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. See you. Bye for now. I am Amadin Ogbewe.